So I'm going to be talking to Katarina here in just a few minutes about Havenly Baked. And I want to talk about the subject of grit and perseverance. And I think Katarina is such a great one to talk to about this.
Hi, it's so fun to
Hi.
see you.
Thank you.
Um, so why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, well, right now I'm enjoying a little time off with my girls in Sweden. And I did the crazy thing and started a gluten-free bakery
Yes,
with Barry's help. Yeah.
yeah, I know. I'm super
Oh,
excited
yeah, you
to.
baked them? Okay.
I did. Yeah. So I want to talk about your product and how you pivoted, but I do have a fresh baked. The house smells amazing.
Oh,
Fresh
good.
baked rustic bread bowl that I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
try.
Awesome.
Um, So yeah, you started this. Let's see, you've been talking about it for a while because you and we chatted, like we connected a long time ago. Maybe
Right. Yeah,
when
well,
did you actually start? Last?
I started in May last
Yeah,
year, but that was like I started, with the logo and the design
yeah,
and
the fun stuff.
the fun stuff and the website. And then I think we came in contact at some point and you helped me with some spreadsheets to look at cost of goods. and
Yeah,
and then I did the crazy thing and went and got into a commissary kitchen and didn't really know what I was doing and tried to make
I
big
know.
scale. Yeah.
I
So
love
in
it.
trying to figure out, packaging and to be sustainable in the food business, I think is a challenge for many.
Hmm. Yeah, you
To
have some deep values around sustainability and sustainable
Yeah, we'll see.
packaging
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
far I've been able to keep it, but it's obviously going to be trickier if I wants to get into the freezer section in a big
Yeah,
store, right? Like now I'm selling it to customers in packaging that is compostable and
yeah.
recyclable, but I don't know how long I can keep that up.
Does Sweden, was it Sweden? I just heard in like that area of the world that they have a zero packaging law. Is that
Uh,
Sweden?
I don't know if that is with Sweden. I know that
Okay.
Sweden is in the super forefront of recycling.
Yeah.
So all plastic here gets either
Hmm.
recycled or burnt in a way that's very expensive to do, but in a very sustainable manner. So they basically contain all the poisonous gases that would come off it and use the energy that it creates.
Mm.
So
Wow.
Sweden is in the super forefront compared to the US, where a lot just lands in the landfill forever. So
Yeah. It's a super side note, but yeah, we were talking about that on a consultant call about how like sustainable packaging has been a big thing. People want that. But then with COVID, now we've been using a lot more plastic because single
yeah,
serve and like people want they
right.
feel like
And
it's more safe or whatever it is.
yeah, so that's sad. But I mean, I guess for my products right now, it didn't matter because I didn't sell them open anyway. But
Yeah.
it's very strange when you go I went into the supermarket here in Sweden today, and they're just fresh baked goods laying kind of open in cases, and people can just go in and grab and pick them. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, I don't know if I dare to do that. So I did buy like a package of cookies for my kids,
Yeah.
but they don't seem to be getting sicker because of it. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But for my products, I guess it didn't change so much because they were always sold in a packaging
Yeah.
that stayed the same. So when I started with the due to COVID, I started with the bake at home bread mix that you showed. And I was excited
Hmm.
when I found these little small compostable bags. But of course, it's
Mm.
trickier because they don't seal 100%. And
Is it different? So this is the other mix you sent me because they have like a
yeah,
little side. Yeah. So it's the bread mix and then it's got the yeast
right.
and
And
all
the
the other
sugar.
things
Right.
in the
Yeah.
sugar. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first time, when I sent that to someone, I hadn't double folded it like I do now.
Oh,
So
okay.
some like kind of fell out in the in the bag.
You
So
always want
you
to like
learn.
do a test run with a friend, like, hey, let me ship this
Yeah,
to you.
I didn't do that. So it didn't occur to me that it could fly. But She was actually another sweet. She was
Oh, nice.
very sweet. So she was like, "Oh, just send me new." She understood not to bake without the yeast and the sugar, so
Yeah.
I just mailed her two new little packages. But then I changed that and realized that if I double fold,
Double it over.
then it's yeah.
That's great. So I've been thinking a lot about, I've been reading this book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. And have you ever heard that word before? Is that,
Yeah,
like,
I don't
yeah,
know if I have
grit.
it.
You no, you do. You definitely do. So the way she describes it is grit is passion and perseverance for your long-term goals. And
Yeah,
it's not necessarily about luck and it's not about talent, although those can be helpful. And you certainly have a talent for baking amazing, like, I'm gluten free and like I don't eat a lot of bread just because they're pretty terrible, but
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
this
you've
is it's
clearly
like real
developed.
bread. It's actually
Yeah.
funny because I went on a walk with a friend that I've known for 39 years. And she asked me, because I had a legal background and which was more lucrative, obviously, than baking bread. And she's like, "Why did you start
Yeah.
this?"
Like, look at this. I just made this. And it's like, it cuts like real bread. It's not falling apart.
Yeah,
It's like made with real ingredients.
yeah,
And you have all of these. You gave these to me the last time we met, and I haven't eaten them
yeah,
yet. But you have all these different buns and muffins that are delicious. You even have a paleo and a keto
yeah. So
version.
that's kind of and she was like, "Why did you start this?" And I was, because there isn't that. This is. I mean, I have friends, in particular Swedish customers, who just miss real bread and they
Yeah,
eat gluten, but they like want bread that tastes like bread, looks like bread, and it's not just like toasted cardboard.
yeah, yeah.
And so that's why I started it, because I think there's not much that's comparatively as good. But I didn't know about the difficulties in making this product.
All right, so that's what I want to talk about because you clearly have a talent and you have an amazing product. And of course, everybody's like, you have to turn this into a business. This is amazing. Right? The story I hear over and over again.
Hmm.
And then you started, like, you finally committed. We got started. We looked at our pricing and costing. And then you got a kitchen and you just like went all in on it. And we
Called you
talked a little bit.
crying. Called
Say
you
that again.
crying after the first time. Didn't I call you crying after the first time?
So
Because
that's what I,
I didn't know how to bake in big scale. Yeah.
yeah. So you had always, that's like the biggest thing, right? You'd always just done out of your home kitchen. And then you went into this and you had a guy, right? Was Alex
Yeah.
with you then?
Yeah. So
So
he was
you,
amazing. I was lucky to have had him, who
can
had
you
been in a
imagine if you didn't have
professional.
him?
Yeah, who like knew even when we went into this professional kitchen, like how do you even get the sanitizing to come out, or how do you operate, like I had zero idea. I don't know what I'm
How
thinking.
do you turn this oven on? How do you, I know, there's so much,
How do
this
you clean
giant
the place?
mixer.
I know.
It's
How do you
so different.
yeah, how do you follow all because I'd done the course that you recommended in the beginning, right? To get when I started to do the under the cottage rules,
Yeah.
right? Just in the
Yeah.
very, very
That
beginning
food
when I did an
handler. Yeah.
event. So you helped me with that. And so I did that online training, but it's very difficult when you do that and answer all the questions. And when you come in and it's
You
live, you're like, wait, what
actually going
tablet
into,
goes where? And how do you clean what? And what can you not do?
I know. What's
Yeah.
where's the sanitizers thing? And just scaling up a recipe, right? Like we didn't know, when you take a home recipe and we're like, we think we can make 10 of these, we think we can times it by 10, but you don't
Yeah.
know. Like it works very
Yeah.
differently. And I have another client who will definitely do a live and talk about her production because that was the same thing. It was like scaling up is
Yeah.
crazy. So you called me after, because you baked from like 10 p.m. Like the only time you could get in the kitchen was 10 p.m. to like 2 a.m. Was that?
Yeah, no, it was in the first time it was 6 p.m. to 1 a.m.,
Oh
I
my
think.
gosh.
And then I actually ended up changing that which is weird because I'm not a morning person, but it turned out that a 6 a.m. shift was actually better for me,
Mm,
because you can get up at like 5 and still be a normal human being,
yeah.
versus like getting in at 1 and I didn't get home until 2:30, and then you're supposed to try to sleep, and then I still have 2 young girls at
You
home that I
got
was
two
supposed to get
kids.
up to, and I was like a total wreck the next day. It wasn't work for me. I
Yeah,
think if
I
you don't have
know.
young kids to attend to, then you can maybe try to sleep in. But it's also hard, I find, like to be up at that high speed and then suddenly
Yeah,
just
it's
go to
super
sleep.
hard to
You're
come
like,
back down for
yeah,
sure. Yeah. Like
yeah,
I waited tables forever and like
yeah.
super hard
No,
to go to sleep right
super hard,
away.
right? Yeah, yeah. And it doesn't get easier when you get older. I don't
I
know. And then
know.
luckily, one other company there saved me when I had insomnia. They gave me CBD oil, so that's when I like slept. Seriously, I can highly recommend. Yeah, but
Oh, somebody wrote in that it's so interesting to hear about Havenly. Bravo. So you called me crying and you were like, oh yeah, I can do
I
this.
even
I
add
was
the
like,
sugar to the muffins, and I
oh
didn't.
yeah, that's right. You
And
left
the
out the
bread,
sugar.
yeah, and the one bread didn't rise, and the other didn't like turn out. And I then made. I actually ended up, thanks to this, also help with this other guy. We ended up taking all that bread, we sliced it, we roasted it, and then we made
Yep.
it into a
Croutons.
stuffing for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Because you started right before Thanksgiving. And that's to me, that is grit. Like you persevered. You didn't just like yeah, it was a rough day and I was like, get it out, have a good cry.
I had a lot. I was a wreck.
And then we'll talk about what we can fix tomorrow. We don't need to do it today. But yeah, that was rough. And then but I thought it was so brilliant that you did the croutons and you were
Yeah,
selling at some markets and you kind of got connected with the Swedish community and some
yeah,
Christmas things. And then, I mean, geez, like your whole story is just like pivoting, pivoting, pivoting. And then you got into some awesome stores in Boulder, some coffee
hmm,
shops.
yeah.
And that was really exciting. And then COVID hit.
And then COVID it, right? Yeah, I know. And it was, but that was for me. We talked about that. That was a little bit a blessing in disguise because I was
Yeah,
getting a little close to burnout, trying to do
yeah,
everything myself, like the
totally.
baking and the marketing and the with your help, obviously, but still, it's like trying to do
You're still
purchasing,
on your own,
packaging, and
yeah.
distribution, and it was just it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then, but it was actually interesting from some of those markets. There were some customers who I had met in these holiday markets and Swedish markets who didn't live in, or at Fjällräven, the Swedish outdoor store,
Mm-hmm.
Fjällräven, because I
Right.
would partner up with them to do samples.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people who wrote to me and like, hey, you talked about doing like a baking mix
Right.
and
Yeah.
send that. And can't you do that now? And then,
It's such a perfect twist. I mean, because yeah, you were getting burnt out. Remember when you wanted to go on vacation and
yeah,
I was like, just go with it. Like, get a picture with like flour all over you and you're exhausted and like use that as
yeah,
part of your marketing and just be
I
like,
did. And it worked out
stores
great.
closed.
Yeah. We had a picture of us like, and then, thanks to you. Yeah. And then,
I loved it.
yeah.
I think
Mm.
humor is a
So,
great way to
yeah. So
work.
this was actually good because I had intended to do this baking mix even before, but I just
Yeah,
didn't have the time because it's
I'm gonna
funny. You
eat some
think it's not,
bread.
oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
Have you
eat
had it
some.
yet?
No,
Have
I
you
haven't
had
tried it yet, and it's still
You haven't tried it
warm,
yet?
so I'm
Okay.
gonna.
Did you bake it today or
I
yesterday? No,
did. I
sorry.
baked it
You
this
did?
morning. Yeah.
But wasn't it easy though?
It was so easy. I was like, okay, we'll see. It's early. So, yeah, all I did was you had your package of flour and then you had the little packages. And this is genius. And like during COVID, all the memes have been like the hipsters making sourdough bread and
Yeah.
like you just make like everybody's making bread at home. So yeah, I just put this in warm water and then let it go for like 10 minutes and then added the oil and flour and
Yeah.
then just took like 3 minutes and then you have to plan it out because you got to let it rise. I let it
Right.
rise for like
Yeah,
90
I guess.
minutes
Yeah. And then
and
bake,
then bake
right?
it.
But you don't
And
even
it's
need
so
the
easy.
mixer. I was so
No.
surprised because I had always used a mixer myself. And then someone just told me, why don't you just try to just mix
Mm,
it by hand? And I did. And you don't even have to like wash. You can just do it in the
yeah.
same bowl. I mean, I'm surprised at
Mm.
how easy it is to make. I didn't think it could be actually.
Oh
So
my
I was
God. It
very
is so good. Oh my
surprised.
gosh. So
Yeah,
good.
I know.
It's like
And it
bread
stays like it.
again.
And it stays like this. Like you can have it in 3 days as well. You don't need to toast it. You can, but
And
yeah.
I did one of your suggestions. I par baked, so I split it into two,
Hmm.
and I par baked one of them. I pulled it out earlier.
Oh, you did?
So I was going to freeze it,
Hmm.
and then I can just bake it off
Yeah,
another time.
yeah.
So I was
Or
super,
finish baking your freezer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that
yeah.
was good. So it's good,
Oh,
right?
so good. So you can buy,
Yeah.
so you're doing online.
Mm.
I just, yeah, like to me, man, it has not been an easy road, and it never is. Like
Yeah.
nobody's journey is easy, but
Yeah.
you have
Well,
definitely.
well, I'm gonna need some extra support because now when I come back, it's like you said, the market is ready for it, and to get baking again, I can't like sit on this forever. I think it's
Yeah.
time to actually. So Fresh Times. Did you ever visit Fresh Times in Boulder?
I haven't been there
The
yet.
restaurant?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so it's an amazing gluten-free restaurant, and they have fabulous vegetarian, but also like meat and other things as well. And they now wanted to start to care to replace the bun that they've had because they with the
Mm.
keto bun with the seed
Right.
bun, the
Yeah.
Nordic seed bun.
That's so
So I
funny.
don't have those in back. No, yeah, not those.
No, no.
No,
I don't
they're the
think I
same.
have
I
that
don't
one.
know if you have one of those.
I don't think I do.
I didn't make them as mixing bags because they're kind of tricky to bake, and I also didn't want to let people know how I do that. So,
Yeah, you got to protect some of your secrets.
yeah, you have
Like,
to. But they want to carry that in the restaurants. I'm pretty excited, and I feel like there's
oh,
only so
nice.
long you can hide. I need to kind
Yeah.
of get
But
in
now you're
there.
gonna come back. You took 3 weeks off. Well,
Yeah,
and you were gonna go into the Boulder Farmers Market. I mean, we were trying. I mean, we had a lot of business models going on
yeah,
because we had wholesale. You really wanted to do a delivery model, and I was
yeah.
kind of like, no, let's
No.
not. But you did a little bit of a pickup, kind of like a CSA model,
Yeah,
and
I
then
was rushing a little bit. Maybe that wasn't the smartest because it was like getting a super
you had to
expensive
get the
freezer.
freezers.
So
Yeah, but
freezers are hard. That's actually one of the biggest challenge I didn't realize getting into stores and stuff is that they don't have any freezer space.
yeah, freezer spaces. There's just a limited number of shelves for sure,
Yep.
doors.
Yep.
Um, you also, and then you were lined up to do like Boulder County Farmers Market, which is a big one, or Longmont,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
like COVID
Yeah.
hit.
And COVID hit, and I was like, I can't do it. And I
Like,
didn't know
I
about the date
need,
and stuff.
I
Yeah.
need a
So it's,
minute.
but the Boulder's Farmers Market has been pretty amazing, and because they opened up like an online ordering in addition to their live markets, and now they
Yeah.
just announced that our products will now be available for people in Denver to order.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
so people
great.
who would like order online, you order online and then they go to the market and just pick it up instead of
Yeah,
if they don't want to walk through the market, and they're now going to offer Boulder products as well, and we don't need to drive them to Denver.
drivers.
They will take care of that. So
Oh,
that's
that's
pretty
great.
exciting. So as of this week, it will be available for purchase in Denver. In addition to, I was sending these, but right now I'm only doing the package,
The
uh,
mixes, yeah.
the mixes. But I will start. I just need to get over that and find bakers and all that good
Yeah,
stuff. Because I think I tried to do too much myself, and I need to just hire to have more and maybe sit and work and overlook production, but not be
right.
on the feet for 10 hours. Because it was like, I'm old and it's hard
And you have
physically.
2 kids at home. I mean,
Yeah, it's
this is
really
like,
hard. It's actually really physically hard
yeah,
work to stand and bake. It's that high, you need to do it such high speed and maximize every minute of the baking space because it's so
yeah,
expensive.
yeah. You
So,
gotta, every minute counts for sure. I think
yeah,
that's really smart. I mean, you have to try it. You have to know what's going on in your every aspect of your business. And then where can you better be spending your time? And I think that's
right,
marketing and sales. And
right.
where, so this has probably been a really good thing to take a step back and be like, wait a second, I'm
Yeah,
not
and
doing
see
this.
how to do it. And maybe also which products and maybe not do all the products
Yeah,
potentially. We'll see,
yeah.
But it's, yeah, I need to do some more of the work with you now. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when you get back. We'll definitely be doing some more the hard the not so sexy stuff, the
yeah,
like financial projections,
that's the thing that I'm
business
not.
plan.
That's not my. I like the sales. I like developing the products. I like even baking them. the sitting with all the numbers is not what I love. Yeah.
I know. But we'll get there together, and then you'll be like, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I just have to also say, like, because I think marketing branding is really your strong suit. I mean, your logo, your brand is just beautiful. You've done such a fantastic job with that.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, you've done a lot right, and you're just doing, I think this is the difference between people who succeed and people who give up. And what my experience, who I work with, I can tell pretty early on whether they have that grit or like that compelling reason, like what's going to keep you going. Like, you've had a lot of failures. You've
Yeah.
lost some money on some deals that you thought were the winner, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that was terrible. But you don't know until you try,
Yeah. And
and
there's one more
then you
thing
keep getting
I
up.
think also I didn't realize, and you learn, you just have to be a little humble, I think also, and realize that it's like you said, sometimes it's like you're trying to learn how to steer an airplane, I think you told me, while you're in the air. It's like kind of
Build an
thing.
airplane while you're literally
Yeah,
building the
yeah,
airplane
that's
while
what you
you're in
told
the
me, and
air.
I think
Yeah.
that's so true. And it's not the most smart of all strategies, I have to say. But I also don't know if I would have started this if I knew how hard it would be to
I
start
know.
with. So maybe that's a good ignorance to do.
I say that all the time. If I knew how hard this was going to be, I never would have started my business. And I think a healthy dose of idealism and
Is
optimism is
mm,
naivete is really good,
yeah,
combined with like, I'm going to go to work, and I'm really committed to this and to long-term goals.
yeah. And it's you need to look a little bit at it, of course, like you said, because it's a tough business, and but it's like my husband told me, it's unlike, it might be easier to make other products potentially that's not as, fresh and difficult to make, as these breads are, because you can't just tell
Yeah.
someone and set them aside. It's a lot of judgment because you don't have a perfect professional, like a huge bakery where everything is regulated. But on the other hand, there's also not that much competition for a
Hmm.
reason, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a hard product to do versus like, salsas or crackers or energy bars where you have thousands of competition, even though it might be more possible to lay it out, or you can have
Yeah.
co-packaging or something, right? Like
Yeah.
it's that balance.
Right.
Um, and
And it wouldn't be your thing. Like, you would give up because it's not what you're passionate about. Like, you're
yeah,
passionate
yeah,
about the spread. So
yeah.
you do have to have.
I'm passionate about it.
If you were just making another energy bar, you would have given up a long time ago. You would have been like,
Maybe
screw
I'm like, although
this.
sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just go and apply for a normal in-house legal position. That would be smarter. I
No.
don't know.
I
Yeah,
know great things are coming your way. Like,
yeah,
amazing. So,
yeah.
everybody watching, we've had a lot of people on here, which has been awesome to see everybody joining and giving you lots of thumbs ups. And,
Oh, thank you.
um, but yeah, so are you shipping right now? I guess you're not
Yeah,
even in the
no,
country.
actually, my dear husband, who's American, he couldn't come to Sweden.
Oh, hi,
So he's
Stuart. Thanks.
so he's right now he's helping out with
Oh,
some
good.
packaging and delivery. So but I told him, he gets a whole month without the kids because we needed to isolate here for 2 weeks before we can
Yeah,
see people. So we needed to go for 4 weeks to make it work. So
right.
I'm like, hey, you don't have the kids for 4 weeks. You can help package a little bit. So
Put
he's a
Stuart
good
to
he's a
work. I
good guy.
like it.
Yeah, he's so
Yeah,
nice.
I love it.
He's
Um,
important. Didn't you help him
so
make like a gift for me? I think.
yeah, he and I chatted a lot a couple times during Christmas because he wanted to get you some fun gifts with your
Yeah,
logo
but
on it. So
yeah, evenly
I'm an
inspired.
excellent gift giver, helping other people pick out gifts.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so where can people find you if they want to? So you can go order this on me. Seriously, you
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
if
yeah,
you, I
yeah.
don't care if you're gluten free or not. This bread is phenomenal.
I actually thank you so much. I do. Yeah, you need to try that. Let me know what you think. You need to send some
It's
picture when you bake the oat the morning oat bread makes. It's
Yeah,
fun.
so that's the other one you sent me was the morning oat
Uh-huh.
bread mix. Yeah.
Yeah, so if they go to havenlybaked.com,
Okay.
And Havenly, it's HAVE, not like heaven.
Yeah.
So that's havenlybake.com, and then one can order there.
Great. Yeah. It's
And
got the
then
little umlauts on the top of the A, which I never know how to.
yeah, that's a Swedish air. I know it's funny, but
I love it
it's just
though.
yeah, it's just because it's funny because in Sweden most people speak English very well, you know. So
Yeah.
when they see that word, it's they know it's like it brings the connection
Yeah.
to a Swedish heaven, even though it's not. So it's just
Yeah.
a fun word play, you
I
know,
love
and
it. It's the
a little
perfect
bit.
name.
Yeah. So and it
Seriously.
actually it's not just a made up, you know, completely letter
Yeah.
like in Hagendas. It's actually like a real letter that we do use.
Yeah. No, yeah, I knew that for sure. I just never know what the keystroke is. I always want to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll figure it out. I'll go look it up.
yeah.
Well,
So that's it.
thank you so much for joining me. And then,
Well,
yeah, you're on Instagram and Facebook and all of that good stuff. But
yeah.
great things are happening for you.
Oh, you're so
And
sweet. Thank you. And I
yeah,
appreciate the support because it can be a little lonely, you know, like particularly like I don't have a business partner. I would have loved to have had some other person just to like brainstorm
yeah.
and know like should we do this decision or that decision or how should we handle it? And it can be a little lonely to do all that.
And husbands are very supportive, but he doesn't know. He's just
No,
like, give
it's
me a
not.
business
No,
plan, and you're like, no.
he knows energy is sufficient. You know, energy efficiency. That's
Yeah.
his gig. So it's
Oh.
yeah. So it's a little tricky sometimes
I'm
to
glad
know
you
how.
said that. Yeah, thank you. It's so
Mm-hmm.
fun. I feel like that's what I am. That's what the service I provide is like being that soundboard, but also knowing the industry. So I'm not just like pulling stuff out of my my ass. Like that sounds good. Right.
Yeah,
So it's a balance. I was
and it
talking
worked.
with. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, and it worked well because you've helped with some of the design things, and then I could have my sister and her husband help tweak with some things and duplicates. It's been a nice like balance
That's
to make it
important.
work,
Yeah,
which is
I
cool.
love it.
I think
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
talking with Wild with Zora of Wild Zora last week,
Oh.
and she was talking about that same thing, just like how important having a partner is. And she and her
Mm-hmm.
husband actually did it, but she started herself, and she's just like, get a partner, and whether that's a a legal financial partner or just somebody to help you, like myself or other people
Yeah.
out there in this industry. It's in
Yeah.
whatever capacity that you can.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
so
So
important.
it's well, it's gonna need more because now I get back from my little COVID honeymoon. I need to
And
find
get back to work.
get
I
in,
know.
and get going again, and maybe even consider the farmers market again. You know, the
Yeah.
live. I don't know. That we'll talk.
Cool. Well,
Mm.
I'm doing the winter farmers market up in Fort Collins. I'm still working that out. So
Oh, you
we
are?
might. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, that's
We're
exciting.
moving locations, and yeah, I own a farmers market during the winter. So I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. It's your farmers market, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
I
my God.
inherited it last year. So
Oh, really? Wow.
it's been going on for 13 years. So, but
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe we need to move to Fort Collins. I heard that getting a baking space there is a little more affordable than in Boulder.
It can be, yes, it can. Well,
Uh,
amazing. Well, you had an amazing time, and I can't wait to talk to you when you get back. But I hope,
Thank you.
yeah, what a great time to just take a little break and reevaluate. But great job with the baking mixes and coming out with that
Thank you.
before you
Yeah,
left.
let me know
So,
how the oat buns turn out for you.
all right, I will. Have a great
Okay.
day. Thanks,
Thank you so
Katarina.
much. Bye
Bye.
bye.